The only reason you wouldn't upgrade to the Mavic 2 Pro is if you didn't have an extra $1,500 laying around. But if you do, buy it. Go for it, like right now. What's up guys, Josiah Martin here. I'm the Alaskan Outsider. I love Alaska, getting outside and documenting some of the awesome trips that I go on. Part of documenting these trips is flying drones and aerial cinematography. For over the last year, I've been using the Mavic Pro and it has been doing an awesome job, but the Mavic 2 just came out and actually came in the mail today in this box. Here's the controller. Now let's get the drone in the air. Alrighty, let's see if we can fly this thing. Alright, so now I'm going to cover my initial impressions about the Mavic 2, get the Mavic 2 in the air and give you guys some test footage of the Mavic 2 versus the Mavic Pro. And then I'm going to head back inside of my office and give you guys more details about performance and how the cameras operate. Alrighty, let's get the drones in the air. So initially, first thing I'm noticing as I'm getting this drone in the air, the quiet propellers are actually a little quieter. The sound isn't as sharp, it kind of sounds muffled, so it's a more of a dull drone sound instead of a sharp, piercing drone sound. So in public places, that'll help, it'll be nice. The other thing I'm noticing on the screen as I'm flying is just how sharp the picture is and the color profile. It's beautiful, and that's thanks to the new Hasselblad camera on the new Mavic 2 Pro drone. The other thing that's nice is you can actually change the aperture on the drone's camera, so that should be really useful. And this thing goes much faster. Normally the Mavic Pro would be flying around 20, 22 miles per hour for most flights unless you're switching it into sports mode. Now this one's actually cruising about 30 miles per hour right now. The image is just buttery smooth. Then I switch it into sports mode and start ripping. The max speed is rated at 45 miles per hour, but hitting like 47, 48 with a little tailwind right now, so it cruises. Okay, enough about first impressions. Let's show you what this video actually looks like. The sun's really low in the sky right now, so there's these long dark shadows and really bright sky, so that should really put a good test on this 1-inch sensor that this new drone comes with. Alright, so I got the drones in the air and set the settings to 4K at 24 frames per second, and I did no color grading to either of the drone images. So this is exactly what is coming out of the drone. Now, to be fair to the Mavic Pro, I do have the camera settings to be a pretty flat color profile that gives me more information to work with in post-production. So that's why you see the image is less saturated than the Mavic 2 Pro. But regardless, there's just a huge difference between the Mavic Pro and the Mavic 2 Pro. You see so much more depth to the image in the Mavic 2. Everything's much more crystal clear. It's not nearly as pixelated or flat, so I'm really impressed with the Mavic 2 Pro looking at this test footage. And what the new Hasselblad camera brings to the table is that 1-inch sensor, and you can totally notice the difference of the sky. The sky is much more clear. Having that bright sky and bright sunlight doesn't wash out the image like it does on the original Mavic. The other big difference that the new camera offers is its famous Hasselblad color profiling. So the new Mavic 2 actually is capturing 1 billion different colors, while the original Mavic was only capturing 16 million. So that's 6 times more colors that the Mavic 2 Pro is capturing, and it really shows in this test footage we're seeing. So by no means does the Mavic 2 Pro compare with a drone like the Inspire 2 with a $8,000 camera on it. But I mean, it's getting close. And for the price point, this is definitely the best bang for your buck. So essentially what I'm seeing here is that the Mavic 2 Pro, much more depth to the picture. The picture's not getting as washed out on sunny days, and also the color profiling is just top notch. Okay, so now I'm going to cover a few more specs and the main differences between the Mavic Pro and the Mavic 2 Pro. If you don't care about aperture, ISO, and megapixels, and you just wanted to see some drone footage and see how they compared, then we'll see you later. But for those of you who are interested for a little bit more detail, stick around and let's get into it. So as I was picking the Mavic 2 up, it is noticeably heavier, and to be specific, it's about 170 grams heavier. If you already have the Mavic Pro, then you probably know that the Mavic 2 has the 1-inch sensor, which is a huge plus. It is 4 times bigger than the Mavic Pro sensor, and that is specifically why I bought that drone, because you have 4 times the amount of information coming into the drone, which then helps you a lot in post-production. The second generation of this drone gained 4 minutes of flight time. Mavic 1 was 27. This one, 31 minutes. The 1-inch sensor will also help in low light situations, so flying at night or flying at dusk, and the ISO range actually bumps up all the way to 12,800 opposed to the Mavic 1, which was 3,200. As we saw from the test footage, the color profile was spectacular, and it's capturing over 1 billion colors, while the Mavic 1 was only at 16 million. So that's 6 times more colors captured, which definitely enhances the audience's experience, able to see more of the true color when you're filming. A big part of my work as a videographer is doing real estate shoots. I've been relying on the Mavic Pro to be taking these real estate photos, and to be frank, haven't really been that pleased with it. Kind of just been limping along until the Mavic 2 came out. The Mavic 2 has a 14 on the exposure value, while the Mavic Pro is just taking regular HDR photos. So I'm really excited to be taking more real estate photos with the Mavic 2 and actually being able to play the shadows and highlights in Lightroom before I send it off to the real estate agent. As I mentioned outside, I was really impressed with how fast the Mavic 2 is ripping around, and that's because it goes 5 miles per hour faster. And the new controller, although it does look very similar to the first edition of the controller, extends your range by about 1 mile. But remember, line of sight. So does 5 miles really matter? Another feature that I'm super excited about that I wasn't able to try out yet today is the hyperlapse mode. You switch to hyperlapse mode, you set it up quickly, push go, and your drone takes off doing a hyperlapse. I've been playing with these hyperlapse on the Mavic Pro, having to dump all the footage into Lightroom and then editing it into a time lapse. The footage has been really shaky, kind of stiff, moving around. I haven't really gotten good results with the Mavic Pro as far as hyperlapse is concerned. So having this feature built in is really exciting for me. I plan to make a video about the Mavic 2's hyperlapse feature and how to best use that. So if that interests you, go ahead and click that subscribe button, join this community. We'd love to have you. The other really cool, exciting feature that DJI released was the dolly zoom feature on the Mavic 2 Zoom drone. It is a pretty interesting feature, but in the hundreds and hundreds of videos that I filmed with my drone, if I wanted to use that dolly zoom feature, I would just do that all in post-production, and I've only done that like 2 or 3 times in the last 2 years of flying drones. So it's kind of a cool technique, but not one that I would use often. So having the Pro version was definitely much better option for me versus having that little bit of zoom. Another big change to the Mavic 2 is not only having 4 sensors, 2 facing down and 2 facing forward for obstacle avoidance, but 1 on the left, 1 on the right, 2 up, 2 down, 2 forward, total of 8. So you're totally surrounded by obstacle avoidance safety. Of course, you're not supposed to depend on these and rely on these, but sometimes you're looking at the controller, not the drone, and there's a tree. But thankfully, the Mavic 2 should be helping you avoid more tree crashes compared to the Mavic Pro, because, well, I did hit a tree with the Mavic Pro myself. I did test this feature outside, and I was pleased with how quickly it was responding. Really leaned back and tried to avoid that obstacle instead of just kind of slowly leaning back. I don't know, the Mavic wasn't as excited about avoiding the obstacle. So I really appreciate the Mavic 2's vigor when avoiding those obstacles. Something else that DJI has claimed to enhance is the active track system. So I often never relied on the active track as far as tracking my car or a bicyclist, because there's any kind of tree or other car driving by, it quickly lost the track. And so I haven't tested this feature out, but DJI claims that 2.0 is going to be better. So far everything is better about this drone, so I'm going to trust them on that. So it all comes back to the question, should you upgrade? Well, like I said at the beginning of the video, if you happen to have $1,500 just laying around, definitely upgrade. If you're a professional filmmaker or photographer, absolutely upgrade. Sell the Mavic 1 on eBay, try and get some money back, invest that in the Mavic 2, it'll be worth the investment. Now, if you're just a hobbyist that like to go camping with it or follow you out water skiing out on the water, whatever you guys do for fun over there, because up in Alaska, we don't do water skiing. The water's too cold. But yeah, if you're just a hobbyist, maybe it's not worth it for you. It is quite a bit of money to just drop on a for fun drone. But for me, I'm making videos professionally, so having that extra information captured in the drone, totally worth it for me. Well guys, I hope you found this video informative and helpful. If you did find it helpful, help me out, give me a thumbs up on it. Comment below any other questions you might have about the Mavic 2, or if you want a future video about a specific feature that the Mavic 2 has, feel free to let me know and I'll see if I can't make that video for you. Hey, it really means a lot that you'd stay to the very end of this video with me. Most people would have clicked away by now, but you guys, you stuck with it, and I appreciate that. And I'd also appreciate it if you subscribed. So go ahead and do that. We'll see you next time.